Miral. How nice to see you. Don't worry about her. She'll be fine.
Miral, you are late.
Some of you might have heard that there is an uprising, what has been called the Intifada.
It means stand up straight. We live in paradise while our people struggle every day against this shit.
Shit? What kind of language is this? I understand your anger, but you must control your emotion.
We cannot act independently. Without unity, we can achieve nothing.
I feel useless. I really want to do something more.
I have seen this before. Our family was destroyed by this.
If you have a problem, just remember you're 17, you're an Israeli citizen.
What are you doing here? Do you understand who he is?
He's a patriot.
We are here for Miral Shaheen.
Cannot take her, she is a school child.
She's not a criminal. Help!
Look at the picture again. Where is he?
Told you I don't know him.
You're not being very helpful. After everything your father did for you, why do you want to hurt him?
Miral was someone that I feel I could relate to in a way that maybe not the same story. I mean, the story of her country is very different from the story of my country. But I just feel that every time I went through history books and I read about the whole India-Pakistan war and the rivalry between the two nations that used to be one once upon a time, just made me feel that I'd love to go out there and do something, maybe in a way for my country, but maybe talk about the story of another country and do it for my country as well. I feel it's a sad situation that children get caught up in this political mix and are kind of misguided and almost in a way after that incapable of seeing that there is another way, there is a more peaceful way of doing what they're doing, of achieving peace. And so I decided that I was educated by fantastic teachers back in school. My mom's a teacher. My dad did all his best to send me to the best schools. And if I could spread the message of education by being part of this film, then why not?
Where is that family going to sleep tonight? Why isn't anybody doing anything about it? We should do something about it.
It's a story of women that lives in the Middle East, and it's a story of 4 women. Starts in 1948, and start with my teacher, who was my mentor, and a lady that was 30-year-old in 1948. She found in the streets 55 kids, and they were the survivors of a massacre that took place the night before. And she decided from that day she will give them a home and school, and in a way, hope. And it's the connection of many stories with my country, with Israel and Palestine. So you see the impact of a conflict on these people. Miral is the recipient of these 3 stories, of 3 destinies in a way, that are intertwined in a non-direct way. And she represents in a way, what is that country about? How can a little girl survive in such circumstances? And the fact that Miral is me in a way, and it's not me anymore. It's it's what we see in many areas, many zones where there's conflict, and it's her story with her father. It's a love story between a little girl and her teacher and her father.
I read her book, and there was a script that had been written not by Rula, by some other people that she had asked me to look at, and when I did, I asked if I could actually read the book, and I thought the book was much more like a script than the script that other people wrote. And I said to her, why don't we work on this and we'll make this into a movie? I think essentially the movie is about peace. How do we understand each other? What I tried to do was make a portrait of Rula with a film. I told her story. I told the story of her book. There are many different versions of what happened to a lot of different people in this conflict, but this is specific to her. So it's me, an American Jewish man from New York, making a movie about a Palestinian girl who's growing up in East Jerusalem. and all the precedents, the women that formed her, the political situation that surrounded her, the school that she grew up in, and basically Rula picked up the baton of love and education from Hind Husseini, and I think completed a full circle. And now we have a vessel to actually talk about the conflict and to show that there can be some understanding. And I think the fact that we worked on this thing together is something in itself. And we had to get Palestinian people and Israeli people to work together to do this. And we shot everything on location in Jerusalem, in Ramallah, in Akko, and in all over Israel. And so we needed the cooperation of everyone, and we had some extraordinary actors working with us. And at the same time, just as a director, as an artist, as a filmmaker, I just wanted to make something that I hadn't done yet. And I felt like this was a palette that would be very rich in conflict, and it's a personal story that becomes epic somehow because of its implications. And like Rula said, this girl essentially represents, I mean, it's her story, but there's so many other girls that are still there, and they're just people on both sides that are affected by this prolonged conflict. And I thought that it was my responsibility to deal with this subject, and it was very compelling to me.
Go to your school, stay there. If you have a problem, just remember, you're 17, you're an Israeli citizen, and you can't be held for more than 24 hours. In that 24 hours, you say nothing, and you'll be safe. Let's hope they don't have your name. Come, better I take you. Do you still have copies of that paper?
No.
The books I gave you, where are they?
My father's house.
You have to get rid of them.
Where do I put them? But
What are you doing here? You come home with me. He is not for you.
Yahaj.
She is not for you.
Well, I don't know what it is about this film, but the minute I stepped into Israel, I just felt like I had been there before, you know. I felt like Israel was a place that was going to teach me a lot, was going to make me grow, and that I would have to be open to a lot of challenges. So yes, there were challenges, loads of those. I mean, I had to master a new accent, which is so difficult to do, especially when you're performing, to concentrate on an accent. So the best thing to do is to find your own kind of, you know, way of dealing with a new accent. You can't be perfectly, I wouldn't be able to do it the perfect Palestinian way. But the best way to do it is to be comfortable and to do it with conviction. The other challenges were trying to learn about a whole new country and about their history in a way in order to understand what I was trying to do.
It's important to show it to young audiences. It's important to show it to people. It's important people that have not formed ideas yet, that we can actually, and I do think that, you know, some people have said to me that it was a life-changing experience for them. It was for me. And I think that I'd like it to be shown not just to young people, but I do think it's an educational film because I didn't know anything about her story before that, and I wanted American people in North America to see this movie. Many people have said to me, I didn't know anything about that. Jim Carrey saw the movie. He said to me, you took me to a place I never would have seen before. And she took me to a place that I never would have seen before. And I had to go there to do it. And I think it's very accurate in that way. I tried to be as honest as possible to her story.
Julian is very creative and very artistic. So in a way, without making it sound like, you know, he's eccentric, I feel he has ideas that not normal people don't understand. So it's best to not question it and to go with the flow, because you know that what he's trying to do is going to just translate beautifully when it comes out on film. And I think one such incident happened when I was on the mountaintops with Hani, a first date. And he said, you should take out this book, and you should take this book and give it to him. It's a book about natural disasters. And I looked at him and I said, you want me to talk to my boyfriend or my potential boyfriend about natural disasters on our first date and then talk about politics? And he just said, just do it, you know? And I just think there was something that happened in that moment that was so crucial. This girl's talking about natural disasters in all innocence and has no idea that what she's going to be told is going to change the way she perceives everything from then on in the film.
Baba, he's Yasmin's boyfriend.
You think your father is stupid?
Baba, I met him by coincidence. I was going back to school and...
Do not ever look at me in the eye and lie to me. This I will not accept. Do you understand who he is?
He's a good man. He's a patriot.
I cannot talk about this. Go to your room.
Well, I didn't write the book thinking, okay, I want to educate people, but I was working in television, and I felt that space, the time that television dedicated to these arguments was so small and so demagogic in a way. So I thought, okay, a book is a different experience. It's really a journey. And when I saw the second Intifada happening, I thought, oh my God, I lived the first one, and I saw how I felt and I lived how dramatic it was for my generation and for many people. So to see that again, I was desperate. But I decided that writing this book was the only way we can see history in a long term, and we see the positive and hope, and you can dream again that peace can be achieved. And it's, you know what, everywhere peace can be achieved by people that continue hoping in the most dramatic circumstances. I thought also, you know, I have a daughter, she's 14, she didn't know anything. And the truth of the matter that who's born in 93 or 96, in a way, doesn't see the history before them in a positive way. They don't know much about it. And I was shocked when I arrived to Europe, and I felt that there was so much prejudice about that conflict, about the Palestinians, the Arabs, and I feel the same thing in America. And I think this movie, in a way, shows the other side that was never shown before. And the other side is not the conflict by itself, it's the civilians.
There's nothing to do with religious fanatics on both sides or military solutions on either side. It has to do with people that are living in the middle of this, that didn't decide to live in that situation, but are coping with it in some way. So it shows
they have an imposed destiny. When Hani said to Miral, you know what, I don't care, one country, two countries, I want to live, I want to have children, I want to have a life. This is what most people think, and this is what we don't know about them. We think, you know, they are all fanatics, they are all, in a way, the same, they have all same mindset, they are all violent. You see the other side, you see the you know, the peaceful side, the beautiful side.